Hi everyone, good evening. This is Shivana from EduAdvise International, and we are back again with another demo class on IELTS. We have our trainer, IELTS and TOEFL trainer, Miss Salma Bipari, who will be presenting before you all today. So, a few rules before we move on. First thing, I would like to request all of you all to turn on your cameras and kindly keep your mics muted until in at the end of the session when you all allowed for the question and answer round. You all can turn on your mics that time, or you all can put in your questions in the chat box. Moving on, handing over to Salma.
Thank you, Shivona. Good evening, everybody. Are we good to go? So we would be talking through reactions, and we will also be using chat box for our, communication. And if there are any doubts and questions, you can make note of the questions so that at the end of the session we can, discuss them all. So I wouldn't want to give a lot of introduction about me, but I'll give it short. My name is Salma Vipari. I've been an IELTS and TOEFL trainer for about like 10 years now, and I've been doing master trainings and training from British Council IDP, updating myself every now and then for students like you to get the updated and authentic information. We are also registered with IDP for our registration, exam registration, and so that we get first-hand experience and also we get authentic information. So whatever we deliver today will be completely IELTS official, examination rules and regulation. So any questions related to this, you can definitely ask me. Okay. So for that, I would request you all to keep it later or make note of the questions. Okay. I know writing is a little bit boring session, so we'll try making it as interactive as possible. And I know it's again in 1 hour session, it is practically not possible to finish everything and learn everything together. But I'll try giving you some inputs and insights, whatever possible from my end, and I will make sure that it is simple and understandable for you all to carry or practice on later sessions. Okay, we will be covering this major part of the session. The objective of the class is to know what IELTS is, different types of modules, which I will be doing in very just and very brief. I will be briefing you all in it, and we will be going at length about writing session. As you all know that we are here for the writing session, so we will discuss more on writing sections and will not be going in detail with the other modules, which we will have other demo classes where you can register for future references. Okay, writing, before we go for this, I want you all to just read this for half a second, half a minute, sorry. Moving on to the next slide. Once done reading, please give me a thumbs up. Please put in the chat box the answers to the questions that I'm going to ask y'all. How many components are there in IELTS examination? Write in the chat box, please. Since it is a write-in section, I would request you to give me your answers in the chat box. Because it is very important to understand what IELTS is first to be able to do well in the IELTS examination. Now, many a time students fail to understand what exam is all about. Thank you, Gaurav, for your answer. That is correct. 4. And do you know the order of the exam? How the exam starts? Like, what is the order of the exam? What module comes first, second, and third? It's okay. You can make mistakes. That's why you are here for the session. Chrysilla says listening, writing, speaking, reading. These are the modules. Yes, Chrysilda. But order of the exam is, if you have noticed in the PDF or the PPT, you have seen that it's LRW, stands for listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Okay, that's very great. I do not want to go in detail about it. We'll be going in very quick and brief. That is, you have two types of examination, that is computer based and paper based, right? I suggest students whose typing skills are really good, and since we have dates readily available for computer based exam, and that too we have the center here in Goa, we recommend students to opt for computer based exam, whereas paper based exam takes about 2 days time, and because LRW is held on one day, and the speaking can be a day before LRW or a day after LRW. And then the dates are not readily available. It could be once in a month or twice in a month, and you would not find the center here in Goa. You would have to travel out of Goa. Moving on to the next thing, you all have read the IELTS full form, right? First thing, learn to pronounce it. It is called IELTS, not IELTS. I have seen a lot of students mispronouncing it. It's called IELTS, IELTS, and all the things. So it is IEELTS or IELTS. So what is the full form of IELTS? It's okay if you don't know, but you can give it a try, because the understanding of the abbreviation IELTS is important to know what exam is looking into from a student perspective, what you should be knowing and what exam is asking you to produce in the exam. So I stands for International, perfect. E, definitely English. IEL, okay, language. T, yes, testing. And then, yeah, IELTS language testing system. So definitely from this word, it says that IELTS is not your knowledge testing exam. Definitely it's your language testing, and that to English. A lot of students have a misconception about that IELTS are just because I know English, I can do well in English. Now there are some other parameters also, but it's not just English. There are certain rules and regulations that an exam has got, which we will be going in details in further sessions. Okay, so it is all about International English language testing system, not knowledge. For that, you don't have to have a vast knowledge about every topic that is being asked, be it in listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Now moving on to the writing section, unlike your listening and reading, this writing or speaking is more of producing your language, where a lot of students end up making mistakes as well. Like when you produce a language, there is a error in grammar, pronunciation, sorry, spellings. You would have, you would make some punctuation mistakes and stuff like that. But whereas in the listening and reading, it is already, the language is already produced. You just have to listen, and it's a receptive thing. Okay, so that is why IELTS writing becomes a little bit of challenge for a lot of students to produce and come up with the ideas within the given time frame. Okay, let's move to the next part. So we have task 1 and task 2. Total time is 60 minutes. It's important to know the do's and don'ts of writing, please, and that's why I'm repeating it so that you remember it. And task 1 is basically a report writing in academic sessions, where you will be getting diagrams, pie chart, table, map, and stuff. And task 1 for general writing, it is different, because there you will be getting letters, formal or informal or semi-formal. And task 2 writing, task part, the second part of the task, remains the same for both general and academic. Now, what is general and academic? Students who are going for study abroad purpose, and they, some jobs demand academic writing of your exam, and general writing is basically for the people who are doing or applying for jobs. So now that I believe everyone who is registered here are doing study abroad sessions, right? So you're going to study abroad, so then definitely you're going to go for academic writing. I'm trying my best to make you understand, and in a very short period of time, because I usually take a little longer time than the usual time of 1 hour. Okay, so I need your active participation and as well as responses, so that I know that I have delivered the correct information and you've understood it. Okay, so moving on to this, so we will now do writing task 2 in detail. Another 20 seconds to read this. If done, just give me a thumbs up. All right, thank you. There are different types of questions in academic task or general writing task too. There are discuss type of question, agree, disagree. To what extent do you agree or disagree? Advantages, disadvantages, positive, negative, and all. Do not worry about all these questions, but they are very simple if you understand what exam is asking you all to do. Okay, that is where I want to focus. That's why I'm just going very brief to this introduction, because you will do it practically, then you will understand it better. Okay, so as I said, there are like 250 words that you need to write, and writing more than 250 is acceptable, but you have time constraint, which I will be discussing further again. And As I said, IELTS is just it's not a specified or a structured essay. You need to understand the question, you need to produce what your opinion is, what you feel, and explain and convince the reader, that is me or the examiner. That's what I want to tell you all, that it is not a structured one. You cannot have a template to write an essay. The more natural you write, the better score you're going to get it. Okay, this is very basic outline that we have learned from school level, right? The introduction, the body paragraph, and conclusion. The body paragraph totally depends upon how many points you have and how are you going to organize. That's where you are being assessed. Okay, basically introduction that I will come in now. Can you all go through this? Just 30-second session. Understand it, because I'm going to ask question on this. So what does an introduction consist of? When you write an essay, your introduction should have two parts of your of the task. That is paraphrasing the question, considering the task, and introduce the task, and should focus on the task response. There's a very important, and I trust me, even if students are well versed with their language and very good at their language, they end up making mistakes over here. Sometimes it's not because of their grammar or vocabulary, but they lose score because of not understanding the question. Can anybody type in the chat box and tell me, what do you understand by the word paraphrase? And this is a very important word in IELTS, not just for writing, but for every other integrated task, that is reading, listening, and speaking. What do you understand by the word paraphrase? And if you have understood and if you know how to paraphrase, you're done. You're very good at your academic, for sure. To express the same idea in words. That's exactly what I'm looking for, right? Expressing the question in your own word. That's very well. So imagine I have written a question. Salma is a beautiful girl. Now, do you agree or disagree? That is your response, right? You would have either you agree, yes, you agree, or no, you don't agree. But if you use the same phrases like Salma is beautiful, then you are copying the question word. You're copying what the examiner is telling. Where are you producing the language? There you are assessed on. So if you just copy exactly what the question is saying in the same own words and same exact structure, then you're not going to fetch a good score. Rather, you're going to get around, let's say, 2, 2.5 to 3, because you have not done something on your own. You're just doing it, copying it, and just a copy paste, nothing new. So paraphrasing or rewriting the same topic in your own words matters a lot. Okay, and this word, paraphrase word, is a key to your IELTS for every module. I've also mentioned something about task response. Can you all tell me, what do you understand by task response? Okay, so if I ask you a question, do you like ice cream? What your answer would be? In full sentence, okay, not one word, please. That's also a part of your IELTS evaluation. Do you like ice cream? I know it's a simple question and funny question and not a logical question, but trust me, there is a point, and I want to make the point clear with this simple words. Yes, I like ice cream. Yes, I do like ice cream. Yes. Velika Crisilda, just giving you a task over here. Can you not repeat the word yes and try writing something else instead of yes? Or change the word yes and like, but not changing the meaning. Okay, never mind, no problem. So now you all have given me a response of like, yes, you all like ice cream. So what? Yes, thank you, Crisilda. I prefer ice cream. Very nice. You have given me response to my question. So that is called task response. Do you like this? You said yes or no. As simple as that. So obviously the exam questions will not be simplified like this, but there will be a little bit more elaborated questions. Okay. So you have just done your task response. You said, you like ice cream. Yes, you're responding to it. So that is very important. When the questions framed in the IELTS examination, a lot of students get confused, do not understand what the question is asking you all to do. Now I'll read a question. Please listen to me very carefully. And this is like an IELTS question. Some people believe that taking risk is important in life. Some others believe that having a chill life is more important. Discuss both these views. This is one type of the IELTS question. I repeat, some people prefer taking risk in life, others prefer having a chill life. Discuss both these views. So what does paraphrasing does? You're going to tell me what these two people are telling, right? Group 1 and group 2. And then you're going to tell me that you're going to discuss this essay. This essay discusses both these views, right? So this is just a simple example that I've given to you, which we will be doing a little bit more in elaborative way in the upcoming sessions. I hope you've understood how important your paraphrasing and your task response plays. If your task response and paraphrasing is not done, trust me, you're not going to get more than 5 band score. Because even if you have written beautiful paragraphing down there, still you will not fetch a good score, because the first thing the examiner wants to know is how well have you understood the question. Okay, so if you want to get a very good score and be successful at getting a minimum of 6 and above score, then you have to have a proper task response. Let's move to the next one here. Now, what comes in body paragraph? This it'll be very easy for you all, because I believe most of us have done essays in schools and very simplified way. I do not want to again stress so much on this, so that I can give you activity in the class and I can spend more time on that, right? Doing the task in the class. So you have given your response, like you say, like, yes, I like ice cream. Now it's your time to prove yourself why you like ice cream. So that will come in your body paragraph. That's basically your reasons, and you're going to support your reasons with elaboration, with substantiating the idea, with giving examples to support your idea. Sometimes your explanation is enough, sometimes you need explanation plus an example to support and elaborate your idea. Remember, you need to write 250 words. You cannot write so much or too much in your introduction itself. Only your body paragraph can help you elaborate and write extended answer. Okay, so basically you will make sure that you said you like ice cream, you have your reason number one, you elaborating the reason, explaining it why you like it, or proving it what makes it tastier or whatever it is, and then supporting example if necessary, and then giving second reason for it, and then your body paragraph goes on. And you need to decide how many points or reasons you're going to give and prove it. When you do so, you need to be very smooth or very clear in what you're saying. And here, what plays a crucial role is your coherence and cohesion. Have you all heard about this word coherence and cohesion? So coherence and cohesion is basically like you said you like ice cream and you started writing ice cream, okay? And then you gave explanation about mango over there. It's not going to support it. You may say that some ice creams have got toppings in it, yet you can just give a gist about it, but not speak about the toppings as a fruit and as a point and elaborate it. There you're deviating your task from. And if that happens, you're gone. You will not get a good score for it. I mean, there is no pass and fail as you have read it in the first slide. You will get lesser score, that's for sure. So you said you like ice cream, you need to stick on to writing about the ice cream. Preferably you can give example about the type of ice creams, but it should be all related to ice cream, and then elaborate on further telling me the reason. Maybe the taste is the reason that you like, elaborate on the taste, how the taste is different, how the taste makes you eat more ice cream and stuff like that. Or the second reason is the cool, or the how it melts down, right? Is that the reason, the texture of the ice cream or the softness of the ice cream? Whatever it is, you are going to elaborate on that particular point, and that is very important. You need to convince me, the reader, the examiner, why you like it, and prove it why you like it. That's what is your body paragraph. If that is a simple and very natural way, then you're done. You do not have to worry about your vocabulary or grammar over here so much. I'll talk about grammar and vocabulary a little later, but this is very important. So we finished the first part, that is your introduction, the body paragraph where you are writing and proving the response that you have given in the introduction, that you like ice cream. You're extending your answer about it. Next is your conclusion. Can you all just go through it? I'll give you 30 seconds. Okay, thank you. So conclusion is basically you're rephrasing your statements or the idea or your opinion, whatever you have said in your introduction. And this is very important. A lot of students get confused with introduction and conclusion. They kind of write similar to what they have written in the introduction. So introduction is just like you're keeping some suspense to the reader to read for the body paragraphs or what's coming in the body paragraph. Whereas the conclusion is you have explained because of this, because of this, because of this, right? You're taking those key phrases that you have pointed out in your body paragraph and rephrasing them in your conclusion. And conclusion is basically your opinion. You don't have to write in conclusion, in my opinion again. In conclusion, then you're writing your opinion. In conclusion, because of the taste and the texture of the ice cream, I prefer or I opt ice cream over anything else for my dessert or something, whatever the question is all about, right? You're taking your stand, you're giving your reasons, and you're rephrasing it. So when you're doing this, you should be mindful of not repeating the same sentence structure or the phrases that you have used in your body paragraph or in introduction. You have to try build some better sentences. That's where your language is being assessed. So you again should not contradict or come up with a new point over there. That's another mistake students do. They think that they, when they give suggestion or they come up with some points, they, oh, suddenly I got a new point, so let me write this point. No, all the points and explanation should be in your body paragraph, and your conclusion should be what you have written. No more new information in your conclusion. If you write something new over there, then it is not considered to be your conclusion. It again a new body paragraph for me. Using cohesive devices or the linkers or the transition words very important. That is like when you're starting with a point to begin with, firstly, secondly, to conclude. These are your transition or your signal words, and these words are important for a reader to understand. Okay, he or she has finished this part, let's move on to the second part. Okay, she's now going to go for the conclusion part. So that is why when you write in conclusion, and if you write something new point over there, then you're contradicting to your own information and you're beating the purpose of the essay. And say you have said in your introduction that you agree, you like ice cream, but by the time you write your body paragraph, a lot of students forget what they have written or what they have said in the introduction, and they write conclusion or contradict to their conclusion by saying that no, I don't like ice cream. Sometimes I like. No, you said you agree completely over there, and you're saying now sometimes doesn't match what you have written. There you will lose your score, and it will definitely hurt your score, and it will not fetch you a score of more than 6 for sure. It will definitely be below 6. So we have, or I have finished the first part, that is your understanding about what IELTS task 2 is all about, the introduction, the body paragraph, and the conclusion. Are you all ready for a little task that I'm going to give you? So basically, I'm going to write a couple of things in the chat box, and I want your answers over there. This is related to what we have already done. I cannot give you the complete essay to write. As you all know, it is going to go a lot. I mean, it's going to take a lot of time. I'm going to make it simple so that we all work. And the challenge over here is if the answer is already put in the chat box from XYZ student, please try not to copy or not to write the same exact way. Try to write differently. That's what we have learned, right? Paraphrasing. This is a question. Statement. Technology has changed the way we communicate. I want you to paraphrase it and I want you to type it in your own words. Please don't worry about mistakes or errors. I got a response from Maeve. Thank you, Maeve, for a quick response. Technology has transformed our methods of communication. Okay, there are several ways of communication that have evolved with technology. Thanks, Shania. That's also nice. You can extend your points like this. You can add a little bit of this, but then the core meaning of it shouldn't change. And Amif, Shania, if you all have any other version to what you all have written, keep writing it, because that's how you're going to make your writing skills better. And it's very simple. If you know this technique in anything and everything, whether you're for speaking, writing, reading, listening, it will work as wonders to your essay, and it will be very easy to score 7 and above. Okay, I'll go for the next one. Gaurav, technology has been evolving with our communication. Yes. I'm doing, because of the time shortage, I'm going to go for the next question. Will be my last. Try this one. A very common IELTS question. Normally, I keep timer over here for this kind of activities, but since you all know the exam is in 1 hour's time, you need to finish all your task 1 and task 2. So exercise is crucial to maintain good health. Wow, nice. Okay, Shania's response I missed. A good way to a healthy lifestyle is exercise. Beautiful. See, Shakespeare's are coming up. Okay. I know that you will have to your own sentences. You'll come up with more options or variations to this. but we are running short of time, so we will be moving on to our next session, because writing itself is a lengthy session for that matter. Okay. Moving on to the next thing, on what basis are you assessed? What are the criteria? If you understand what are you looking for, I mean, what exam is looking for, and if you obey and abide by those instructions, then you're done. You are going to get good score. A lot of students ignore what I am saying right now, but if you trust the process, and if you abide by the instructions, what are the things that examiners are looking for, then nothing stops you getting more than 7 band score. Okay, so we'll see what are those things that examiner is looking for. So the first one, task response. I think I'm very clear about this. In the very beginning, I've been saying task response, task response, task response. And I've told you till your conclusion, your task response should not deviate. You cannot contradict at the end of the session. In the beginning, if you said task, I like ice cream, and towards you have dwindling, and you have said mango ice cream and a mixture of this, and later you said you like, sometimes you just change the entire tone of your essay, then your task response is affected. And if your task response is affected, then the entire session is definitely affected, because there's no point in looking for the next thing. Remember, I also told you about coherence and cohesion. As I said, you cannot debate. If you have written about ice cream, your next sentence should be supporting to the sentence that you have said in the earlier part of the sentence. That is like, I like ice cream because of the taste, and then you have to support the idea with the taste, and should be fluent. It's just like two water pipes are flow. I mean, there are two water pipes. One on the top and the one is below, and you want to connect the water from the top to the down. You need a connector. So there is a cohesive device, like when you say, so because of this happens, as a result that happens, and hence this happens. These cohesive devices help you to make your cohesion and coherence very effective. The last two is lexical resource. In simple language, I could say it is a vocabulary. Now, a lot of students have this thing, my vocabulary is not good, so I will not get good score. It's not like that. Your vocabulary should be like cherry on top kind of thing. Like you have a white cake, and if you put a lot of cherries in it, it's not going to give that aesthetic or nice feeling. It may look okay, but not very much. We can feel that we can only see cherries in it. We don't see the cake in it. So if you just put one or two or three vocabulary or cherries on a white cake, then it will look so beautiful. Simple and yet beautiful. This is what the IELTS examiners are expecting you all to write in terms of vocabulary. That does not mean I'm stopping you, or I'm telling, or I'm against using vocabulary. You should use apt and appropriate vocabulary, which should not change the meaning, which should not affect your score for that matter. Okay. You cannot run after vocabulary. First, think of task response. Your coherence and cohesion is connected. Then comes your vocabulary. Even with a simple and a very common vocabulary, also, it's fine. But overuse of certain words, like say because it becomes very much over usage of it, and becomes very repetitive thing, and it does not give an impressive essay. So such words, if you can think of synonym and making it beautiful, do it. But don't waste your time in thinking only on vocabulary to make your essay beautiful. First, think of task response and coherence. Rest will follow it. Grammatical range and accuracy is a very vast topic actually, but what I keep it simple is, whatever your sentences are, subject, verb, object, whatever sentence you have written, that sentence should not have any grammar error. I'm not saying that you cannot try complex compound sentence, you try. But are you confident trying using that? Then do it. If you're not confident about those grammar or those complex grammar sentence structures, then please don't use it. Stick to the simple sentences. Okay. So these are the four areas that you have been assessed, and each of this will be getting you 25%. So it's like 100% and divided into 25 quarter percent of it. And if your task response, coherence, and lexical resources, all this, if you can focus onto it, then you will get a very good score. Okay. So that is end of the task 2 session. I know maybe I'm a little fast, but when you practice, when you write essays, you will actually know where you have problems in. So, which is why we have a mock test coming up, a free mock test that is on 30th of this month. Try registering on those mock tests whenever we have those, and we upload it on Instagram and our groups, so that you get an idea where and what you need to work upon. Not everybody has got, like, the same kind of problems. Each one problems are different, trust me. You will find it very different to know the reasons people, or the difficulties that people face. So you cannot compare yourself with each other. You cannot compare just because I have good language I can do it. It's all because of the time management that you need to do. You need to produce a language within the given time frame. Sometimes the topics are some complex for you all to understand. You've never heard about it, you have little or no knowledge at that time, so you get a little worried about it. So that all thought process affects your score as well. It's not just language alone. All these external factors do affect our thought process. So you need to practice. Unless and until you practice and get to know where and what is happening, or where your scores are, or sorry, where your problems are, till then you will not know how to cope up and where you have to work upon. Okay. And if you ask me what are the tips for this one, the first tip is practice, and the right practice. A lot of YouTube, Instagram, you will see a lot of information out there, but authentic and correct information is very limited. I know I've been trained by IDP and British Council trainers. They say that there is nothing official on the internet that you see. They will say, like, nine, if you want to achieve 9 band, you do this. To achieve a 9 band, first thing, practice, trust yourself, be confident, and you will be able to do a better job. Do you have any questions on this? Please post your questions so that I can answer. If you have any question in task 2, please answer, because I'm going to very go quickly with task 1, and I want to keep it very short. Any questions regarding the exam, especially task 2? A lot of students have questions. Please put it in the chat box. You all have understood it? A reaction would help me if you all want some question. Okay, I get a question here. Okay, sorry. Gaurav says understood. Well done. Anybody else? So if y'all have understood it, I'll move to the next session of that is academic task 1 writing. If you have questions in this, please do ask, so that don't mix task 1 and task 2. A lot of students also do this. They learn the do's and don'ts of task 2, apply it in task 1, and task 1 into task 2, and then end up making their own structure. Is word limit mandatory? Word limit is important, I would say, because if it is below 250 words, then it will hurt your score. You're writing more than 250 words, most welcome. You can write 200, 300, 400, 500, not a problem. But I believe that writing more than 260 to 270 words, first of all, time is a constraint. You will not be able to write 300 plus words. Some people are very good at typing and writing. They are very they have a good speed in those skills, so it's fine. But I believe that more than 300 or 290 words, what happens is that there is a possibility of repeating the ideas, repeating the vocabulary or phrases. And there are students, what they do is, to start up a sentence, they use a initial 2 3 words and repeat it and connect it, and to make the second point, they start the same way. The pattern is repeated and it becomes prolonged or extended answer, which does not give any quality. So the quality gets affected. But there is no harm in writing more than 250. But yes, you need to write at least 250, not a word less than 250. Any other questions? All right. Moving on to academic task 1. Here you guys have to read, understand, and I'll be asking you question. And a couple of things I've already discussed, a little bit similar to what we have done in task 2. So how many minutes do you have? 20 minutes and 150 words. Same rule applies over here, not less than 150 words. Writing more than 150 words is welcome. I ideally put it into like 150 to 170 words again, because you have got 20 minutes and you will not have so much time to write. Sometimes the questions have little information, sometimes the questions have got a lot of information in it, so then it becomes a problem. You must have done this type of task in your school or colleges, like bar graph, line graph, isn't it? Table, line graph, flow chart. It is almost a similar thing, but there are certain things that the structure differs to what we do in academic IELTS writing. Okay, so this is how it looks like. Looks like the trend is been presented there. You have to tell me what is increasing, what is decreasing, how much, and what, who is greater than whom. Right, in schools we have learned, but yes, a little bit advanced language we need to work upon. This is what line graph looks like. Pattern or similar phrases would be used over here, because it's again increase decrease, right? This is what a table looks like. You need to be very mindful about the information given, especially in the percentage or the units. Is it in billion dollars or pounds, or is it per hour kilometers or 1 hour kilometer, what it is, or the liters, how it is been measured? That is very important, because a lot of students ignore this. The pie chart, a very commonly practiced in our school, college, you have come across with this. The same pattern of reporting it. This is a very new thing for you all probably, but you'll have done a little simpler version of it in schools, like where you have asked to describe the pictures, right? In schools, describe the picture, what is there, where it is, and all. But here you need to compare how the valley was in 1982 and how the valley is in 2012. Here it could be in past, present, or future. You need to draw the attention what has changed. There are a lot of tips and tricks that you can do this. I would not be able to finish it all in this particular session because I need to cover. However, I can tell you, like, there are certain things that have changed drastically, or certain things not changed at all, or there are some minute alterations done to certain part of the building or the layout. You have to observe that and bring the attention. You cannot miss the information over here. You cannot ignore any information there. The symbol that is shown over there, like tree kind of thing. You know, a lot of students count that number of trees, and there were like 10 trees. Now there are only 2 trees. You cannot write like that. You can say there were like a lot of trees earlier that had been cut down, and now there are, like, in that place this has been built, that has been built or extended, and now there are few trees left, right? This is not like count number of trees and write it, that we used to do in schools, but that is not there. You just need to be having a little advanced paraphrasing of the information given there. Very commonly known question again. There are two types of process: artificial, that is man-made, and there is a natural one, which you might have come across. This is, nowadays we are getting questions a combination of natural and artificial together. So you have to be very careful with your language, the grammar that you're going to use it, active and passive voice. A very rare question nowadays. It's been almost 5 to 6 years. I have not seen this type of question coming up, but still there in our syllabus, I would say. It's better to get to know this, but I do not normally practice it. However, in this question, you're just going to tell me what and where and what is located. Let's say from the bottom, you can see a pouring spout, and then it goes down just below that. This is there. Next to that, this is there. Just naming it. The structure, of course, introduction. A very simple and sorted way is what, where, when. What is the diagram about? Where there will be a place mentioned, and when the time is mentioned. So if you write response of what, where, and when, your introduction is done. That's it in your introduction. Leave a line, and then you're going to write your overview. Here you're going to see an overall gist. You're not going to tell me what has increased, what has decreased. You're just going to tell me overall. Overall, it is an increasing trend or a decreasing trend or fluctuating. That's what you're going to write, just one line. If you write this was the highest, that was the highest, then you will have to repeat the same information in your body paragraph, because in your body paragraph comes the compare and contrast. Here I am looking for your compare contrast features, your grammar. How well are you comparing it, contrasting it? How are you drawing the attention or the similarities between those two given information? All that thing. Summary is optional. I keep it optional because sometimes the information is very limited and you do not have enough words to write. and you find difficulty to maintain that 150 word, that time the summary helps you a lot. But remember, your overall or summary or body paragraph, the information that you have written once shouldn't be repeated anywhere in your body paragraph. If you have written that China has the highest population, and again you're writing but a paraphrased way in your summary, then again it is repeated information. Unlike your task 2, this is way easier. Now, why do I say it? Because the information is already given, the content is given here. You just need to take the look at the content and just organize your paragraph, decide where and what would come, done, and start writing it. You do not, and once you practice every day all these questions, you become so familiar that it is just a piece of a cake for you all. And it is possible to achieve 9 on 9 in task 1, whereas in task 2 it is a little bit of challenging thing, because there you need to understand, process the question in your mind, see whether you're responding correctly or not, and think about the ideas, what and how are you going to convince it. Also think about the language, to make sure that you're writing 250 words, and then to see whether you're not repeating or not repeating, or overuse or underuse. All of those things goes on. That's why you need 40 minutes, at least 40 minutes time to do that. Here, just 20 minutes. My students have been doing less than 20 minutes in this task. So it's a not a big deal, because the language or the content is already given to you. You just need to report it. Okay. Same sort of assessment criteria goes on to here. As I said about task response over there, here it is task achievement. So I have given you task to compare and contrast. I want to see the candidate whether he has done my work. Has he compared or not? Whereas there I have asked you, do you like ice cream? So I want your response. So here I want to see the candidate achieve the task or not. There I will be saying whether he responded or not. So once you have done cohesion, coherence, the same rules and regulation of what coherence, lexical resource, and grammar for task 2 remains the same thing. One of the major problems that I see in the task 1 session, despite telling, and I'm repeating and emphasizing on this, is your tense. Trust me, I have students who read so good, and by God's grace, they got 8 and 7.5 and 8. I just hoped that you all also get more than that. But those students who got 8 and 7.5 also, they were at times having issue with the tense. Now, what is that tense? They forget what the question is about, which tense the question was. Because each time the question changes, the tense also changes. You never know, it is not going to be always past or present or future. You have to be very careful about that. A lot of students make mistakes, and they are so forgetful. At the end they say, oh ma'am, we forgot about it. So you need to be very mindful about that. A very common mistake. Okay. What to do in order to get a good score? That's what everybody wants to know from my end, right? First of all, keeping time and abiding by the rules and regulation of the exam is very important, because if you do not know what exam is asking you all to do, you will not be able to achieve the score. Secondly, plan, write, and edit. This is a very popularly known skill that everybody should have. Many of my students, they just jump to the essay writing. Oh, I have time and this is my time, I have to write. No, relax. Even I had that issue. But trust me, my essays got better when I planned. I know what to write, what comes in where. I know this is the essay. The word like is being repeated, so I have to think about the other vocabulary instead of like. So I just make note of those words, the synonyms, the possible words that I would repeat in the essay. I mind map it, write it down, and once I start writing, I will just look at those words and I start writing. Because what comes in first body paragraph, second body paragraph, if I know, then my language is fine. I don't have grammar issues, right? I mean, I, in a sense, I'm talking in terms of y'all. So y'all don't have any grammar issues. Y'all don't have any kind of big problems with vocabulary as such. I do not think so. It's just an organization of all their tasks. Okay. Yeah, that's the end of your writing session. So open to questions to both task 1 and task 2. Keeping both computer-based, paper-based exams. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat box. Yes, you can frame the question and put it in the chat box, or please unmute yourself and ask. And if you think you have understood, it's a great thing. I will be very happy to know that. And if there are any questions that you think it is very simple, no, people will say so and so, please don't think the simple questions are the actual questions that trouble you all in your examination. Reminding you all again, once again, we have a mock test happening this month. Try registering and try coming into it. It's free of cost, so that you will know whether whatever you have heard today and learned today from this webinar, is it effective or for you know you've heard it, or when you actually try it you will come to know what are your problems, all the mentioned criteria, among them which area you are falling short of or where you need assistance. You never know. Questions? Okay. How important is the grammar element while writing? As I've mentioned, grammar to the point, whatever sentences you write, that should be correct. There shouldn't be mistakes on those questions. I mean, those sentences. For example, just now I said that a lot of students make mistake in task one. They do not understand or they write a wrong tense. So the question was mentioned like in the year 1990, this was there, and write a report about it. So they write in present tense. They forgot that the year was 1990. If that is written, then it will affect your grammar part of it. The examiner is not expecting you to write hi-fi or very advanced grammar, but trying, if you, as I said, if you're confident about the grammar, sentence structures, and very complex compound sentences, you're most welcome. Definitely okay. But if you feel a little bit of doubt while using the compound complex, I always suggest please go and stick to simple sentences. At least that will not hurt your grammar part. If you just try to impress the examiner by writing difficult complex sentences, then definitely you will end up losing the score. So simple, compound, complex, try it. If you can't, learn. And we still can't it, stick to the whatever is simple and confident and what is giving you the the flow of your idea. If it is simple, fine, go ahead. Any questions? Velika, Crisilda, Meave, Gaurav, Anvil. Punctuations, yes, are very important. Yes, in the grammar part, punctuation plays an important role. Thank you for reminding me about that, Velika. Punctuation, there are this punctuation that I always tell students: full stop, the period, and comma. If you learn to use this, then good. Again, you want to learn the semicolon, colon, then and you're very confident about using it, go ahead. But if not, then stick. But the words like in addition, moreover, a lot of students fail to write commas. See, these words, these are connectors. These are the transitional vocabulary, right? The phrases. So, in addition, moreover, furthermore, in conclusion, these words follow a comma. And if you miss commas over here, then it will definitely affect your thing. But apart from that, other punctuation, that is semicolon, colon, if you write it and you're confident about it, and it's there's no problem in the grammar sentence structure, not a problem. But as I said, if you're confident, go ahead. If not, at least learn to use proper full stop and commas. If you're going for a paper base, that's very important again. And if you're going for computer base, you will if your typing speed is good, then you will automatically, there is no auto corrections, so you'll have to be very careful about it. What is easier, computer based or paper based? That is totally up to you. Now there are do's and don'ts and benefits of and pros and cons of both computer based and paper based. Now if you're talking about typing it and if your speed is good, then paper based, the computer based is, I would advise, because there you have easier version of editing it. You just cut and paste like how we have. You will see the number of words there, whatever you have typed on the right top corner. Also, when you see, but then there is no auto corrections. You will not see the mistakes. You will have to rectify it on your own. Typing errors and the spelling errors will hurt your score for sure. But for paper based, since we are traditionally used to writing paper based paper on paper for exams and all, we are so confident about it. But then again, there also it takes time. So my only solution for it, if you're good at typing, then I would definitely, even if you're like 50 to 60% good at typing, go ahead with the computer base. Paper base will take a lot of time to give you a response, because there are 2 days that will take for the exam. Plus, we do not have a center over here, and you'll have to travel out of Goa, a lot of cost again. But again, some students who are conveniently, or they find it convenient to write on their own or the paper base, they travel. So it's up to your typing speed. Any more questions?
Salma. Yeah. So Anvil is having issues with his mic, it seems. So he has asked to pose a question to you. Whether if it is pen and paper based, would bad handwriting or poor handwriting count for any negative marking or anything of that sort?
Oh, that's very good question actually. So, beautiful handwriting is not what is expected. Legible, clear, and neat handwriting is very important. So that when I read, I should understand your T's and P's and Q's. But if it is very difficult and I can't read it, it's not readable, then definitely even you would not want to waste your time reading that essay. It's always good to write neat and clear, not beautiful handwriting. Any more questions? See, if I think since you all don't have questions, you must have understood, and I believe we can call it a day. Okay, very good. All right. All right. Thank you guys for joining, and we will be having a couple of more sessions coming up in future as well. Stay connected with the groups or Instagram, and I also post some of the contents and latest content. There is any kind of update on IELTS, TOEFL practices, we put it on Instagram reels and all. Stay connected to it because there are each year or each month or some sort of changes do happen, and we as trainers get our updated information. So as and when we get it, we post it in the Instagram. Also, as I said, please try registering for the mock test so that you can get a experience as well. And thank you for joining everyone. It was lovely having you all. Have a great evening. Bye bye.